To another episode of the States Up Podcast. I'm your host, Brant Freeman. The start of the new athletic year is upon us. In fact, as we record this podcast, we're just 2 days away from the very first athletic event of the fall season, and that being Texas State soccer. The Bobcats opening up this season against Our Lady of the Lake, a Division I opponent at the Bobcat Soccer Complex this Thursday. Big expectations for the Bobcats this year after a big run all the way to the Sun Belt title match a year ago, and a big piece of last year's team is back again this year. Big expectations for her as well this season. Kennley Bradley, a senior out of Ogden, Utah, is our guest in the podcast this week. She is a defender for the team and has done a tremendous job with the program over the past couple of years. This will be her third season now at Texas State. She joins us on the podcast. Kennley, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Doing really well, Kennley. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, what an exciting time of year to kick things off in what is the penultimate season of the Sun Belt for Texas State athletics. As we know, of course, the big news over the summer with Texas State moving on to the Pac-12 conference starting next year, but looking forward to a great final year in the Sun Belt. Speaking of which, by the way, you were named to the Sun Belt's all-tournament team a year ago in Foley, Alabama, as the team made its way all the way to the championship match. Named preseason, all Sun Belt coming into this season as well. We'll get into those things here momentarily, but first, I'd just like to get your thoughts on how you feel your first two seasons have gone at Texas State.
I feel like they've gone great. I mean, the first season, being new, being a transfer, I was definitely a little bit nervous, still trying to find my place on the team. But the coaches and the girls made it so easy to just be welcome, to fit right in. I was able to kind of get comfortable, pick up my role on the team. And then the second year, I was just able to kind of go in full force and, try and do my best to make a difference. And then I got the opportunity to come back for a third year. So I said, why not,
Well, as I said, a great run for the team a year ago, making it all the way to the Sun Belt Conference Championship match. What do you recall about that experience in Foley, Alabama?
I was so nervous. I think the nerves were really high for everybody because, it's the biggest game of your career. But I know for me, I didn't want to go into it with any other team or any other coaches. I think we were all just very excited and blessed to be there and blessed with the opportunity that was presented to us. And, we didn't get the win, but we all walked away proud of what we had accomplished that season.
Now, one thing to note about you is that you've led the team in minutes played in each of the past two seasons. In fact, the minutes you totaled a year ago, more than 1,800, the fourth most in program history in a single season. So you spent a lot of time on the pitch. So I have to ask, for you, how much work you put into your conditioning and what is that work like?
Yeah, so it's kind of nonstop, even when we're in spring season or over the summer, it's just consistently working and constantly on top of it, doing, your summer packets or playing with the summer team. And then in the spring, it's going in and getting in an extra lift or stuff like that. It's just, it's nonstop and it's year round. But when you've grown up playing a sport for your entire life and then you go to college playing it, you kind of don't know any different and you kind of don't want any different than just playing the sport that you love, So
in getting ready for this season, obviously you guys have been going full force for the past few weeks here or so, and you've also played some exhibitions. You had one at home against A&M Corpus last week. Team played very well, won 5-0. But also you played a couple of exhibitions in Mexico. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was absolutely such a blessing and an honor to be given the opportunity as a team to go to Mexico and to play against Texas State, Mexico, and to just kind of make history in that regard. It was so fun. The team bonding was consistently, everybody was doing everything together. The games were so fun to be able to play against these young women in Mexico that are wanting the same opportunities that we're given here in Texas. And then being able to play a pro team in Mexico as well was just another opportunity that I never thought I would be given the chance. And I'm just so thankful for the opportunity.
Something else I have to ask, by the way, I couldn't help but notice that you changed your jersey number from 12 to 20. Why the change?
My jersey number was changed because I was a little bit late to deciding to come back for my 5th year. So the girl that wanted number 12, she is the sweetest. So I just was like, you take it. I'm not superstitious about numbers. So I figured I'd give 20 a try.
I see. I got you. So no true real significance behind it other than that.
Nope.
That's fair. That's fair. Every jersey number has a story. They don't always have to be, that detailed. So over your 2 years here, and I know some players along the way have, graduated and since moved on, but who you gotten closest to on the team?
Oh, I would definitely say since being here, one of my best friends is Chloe Jones. She's a holding mid on the team. We've gotten super, super close over the years. We literally do everything together. I just moved in with her and with like Draper and Bell. So we're all super close. And yeah, I would definitely say like Caitlin Draper, Belle Fisher, and Chloe Jones are definitely people who have become my best friends here.
You reference a lot of names that Bobcat fans are familiar with, and of course another big name is that of your head coach, Steve Holman, who's done a phenomenal job since taking over as head coach a few years ago. What's it like playing for Coach Holman?
He is amazing. Not only is he a phenomenal coach, but he's an amazing person. He's somebody who cares about his players, but cares about us as people, and not only wants us to have success on the field, but off of the field. And I feel like sometimes it's really hard to find a coach that cares for you outside of the sport that you've been recruited to play.
So, as I said, you're from Ogden, Utah, and then you got your college career started at Snow College out there as well. So you spent, your entire childhood, adolescence, in Utah. So for you, what was the adjustment like at first in coming to Texas?
The heat. Like, I will never, ever be used to the heat or the humidity here. Like, it gets hot in Utah, but it's like a dry heat. The humidity is definitely, it gets to me every year. I've been here for 2 years and I'm still not used to it. But I would definitely say the biggest thing is moving here was the first time I ever lived away from my family. So it was a big move. I'm 23 hours from my family, and I was kind of scared at first because when I first started college at Snow, I was only 2 hours away. So I was able to go home on the weekends, but moving out here was definitely something that taught me independence, and I know I wouldn't be who I am today without moving out here to Texas.
When you were living in Utah, did you have a chance to ever check out Real Salt Lake games?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Great stuff. I know that one of our staff members here, Megan Webb, is a big Real Salt Lake fan as well. She's spent a lot of time in Utah. I mentioned your childhood. We talked about Utah. So tell me more about your upbringing and ultimately how you got into soccer.
Yeah. So as long as I can remember, we've been a soccer family. And actually, my older sister, Caitlin, is also a collegiate athlete. She played soccer at Weber State University for 5 years. She was a goalkeeper. So we're very similar when it comes to that. And my mom always thinks it's funny that somehow she lucked out with 2 kids that played college soccer. But yeah, ever since I was little, I would say at the age of 3, I've been playing soccer, just kicking a ball and having fun. But I was definitely blessed with parents and a mom who supported me to, try new things, to play every sport. And I was blessed with just opportunities that were handed to me to continue to grow in soccer. But, I also ran track in high school and played basketball. And, I was just able to have fun. And and then eventually it kind of got to the point where I looked at soccer as something that I wanted to continue and hopefully continue to play as I got older. And well, here I am. So.
Well, you mentioned your sister, Caitlin, who, again, as you outlined, had played at Weber State as a keeper for 5 years. How influential has she been in your career?
She was like my hero growing up. Like, watching her play, I was like, I want to be just like her. I tried to be goalie, and then I would cry every time I got scored on. So I was like, that's not the position for me. But yeah, just going and watching her play in college, I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be just like my sister. And, seeing just how amazing of a person she's become, because as a student athlete, you know, you have to juggle a lot between school and your sport and traveling. And I just saw her grow to be this amazing woman. And I was like, that's who I want to be.
Well, as you kind of mentioned, you took some time, with your decision of whether or not to return, for a third year at Texas State. So ultimately, what was the difference maker for you in that, and what are your goals for what is going to be your final collegiate season this year?
Yeah, so it took me a second to decide if I wanted to come back, just, due to being like tired, and I had already kind of been ready to move on. And then I was, contacted back by the coaches saying I was going to have this opportunity. So I asked them if I could sit on the decision for a little while. And I ended up playing with them in the spring. And both of my parents always told me, like, we already know you're going to go back. They're like, we already know. But I was like, no, like, I don't know. And finally, one day I was just like, man, like, I got to make a decision. We had just played Texas in the spring. And I finally just said a prayer, and I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to go back, but I just need an answer. And it was right then and there that I just felt peace, and I felt like it was the right decision. So I gave Steve a phone call at 10:30 at night and was like, hey, like, can I come back? And so, yeah. And then just like what I want out of this season is to just continue to build my relationship with my teammates, to build these friendships that I think will last a lifetime, and ultimately to walk away loving soccer and being able to just be happy with what I've accomplished and be able to, miss the sport when I'm done.
So what's next for you after your playing days are over and you're done with soccer? What are you studying here at Texas State? What is it you want to pursue?
So I actually graduated, and I am in a graduate program right now, but I graduated in communication studies. And I really want to teach. I would love to be a middle school, junior high, high school teacher for either communications, health, or PE. And then due to having some phenomenal coaches throughout my entire career here, I really would love to be a coach for a high school soccer team one day.
Great aspirations to have. Well, Kennley, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, and looking forward to this upcoming season, but will mark your last one here at Texas State. It's been a great career so far, and looking forward to another great chapter being written for you this year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Well, that again, Kennley Bradley, senior defender for Texas State's soccer team, coming off a great campaign from a year ago, and looking for another strong year here in 2025, and what will mark the program's final year's members of the Sun Belt Conference. So that's going to wrap up the podcast for this week. For Kennley Bradley, I'm Brant Freeman, as always, reminding you to keep your states up, and we'll see you next time.